Hello everybody and welcome to my live today, the real work with the new energetics and what you need to know. And as you see, I'm not alone. I'm here with a beautiful soul that came to me a few years ago for her initiation and has ever since not just become a super dear soul sister and friend, but she has also tapped into and embodied her powerful gift as a channeler. Hi Corinna, and thank you so much for joining me today in this talk.
Hi Ani, hi everyone, and thank you so much for having me. It is literally a pleasure and an honor to be here after working with you and spending so much time together after the work that we have done on me. So I am super glad that I get to be here today.
Yeah, it's her first live, by the way, ever. She's just starting her online presence, so I think she's doing quite well. So and today we want to talk about the new energetics, and I am mentioning this a lot in my posts that there is a background frequency that governs the earth and it governs how we lead and live our lives. And that grid is already breaking down, as you can see. It's already dissolving the old layers, the old systems. And the new grid that is going to form, especially from 2027, is a grid that will change the way we did things collectively in our communities, in our tribes, in our cultures, but especially individually. So we are moving from an era where it was very much about the tribes and the communities, about we are all one, we are together. Outside authorities basically telling us how we need to be schooled, how we need to be in our relationships, how we need to choose and be in our jobs, to individuality, absolute inner authority and sovereignty. And today we want to discuss just a few points, not to make this live too long, of what this really means, because a lot of the work you see out there in terms of the spiritual community is based on beautiful things, for sure, but they're not tackling the real changes that are coming, because they're coming within our own system. There will be a mutation of our solar plexus. Our solar plexus governs our emotions, our willpower, and our confidence, basically how we identify ourselves with ourselves. In this transmutation, one topic becomes very important, and that is going to be the topic of neutrality, which means we need to learn to regulate our emotions in our nervous system, to release any emotional attachments that are unhealthy, that are toxic, that are binding us to situations and people either from the past or from our current life. And as you know, this is not an easy thing to do, because working with emotions means we need to dive deep. And today with the portal to the Pisces Eclipse, we are all feeling jiggly. I've been feeling all kinds of ways all the way up to nauseous. So it is a perfect energy to really tune into ourselves, and especially into our higher selves, and channel the higher knowledge, because Pisces is directly connected to the cosmos and the higher knowledge. Corinna, how do you perceive individuality and the own emotional changes and shifts that have happened for you?
So since I met you, I was on a complete journey of dying and coming back alive so many times. But it was exactly as you say, because of my own attachment with what I believe I was, with my own identity. Just recently I was diving deeper into some self-work, and I could see how much I was relating my image to what I was learning from others to be, and how hard it was actually to accept, to go in a total unknown, and to start to emerge with that presence that was in you. It was something that I didn't know that is possible. I didn't know how to do it, but still it was guiding me in the whole process. But what was hard at the beginning, it was just to allow myself to sit with myself. And as you said, every time that rush of emotions, it will come. Sometimes it will be so strong, I wouldn't be able to know what emotions am I processing, because it was so much more from my past that I had to meet, and I didn't know how to actually talk with that energy coming. So as I was spending time with myself, it became easier, because I started to observe what it wants from me and start to build a relationship with the presence in me that wanted to offer me basically guidance to be who I was, to be the real me, to don't be afraid anymore, to just be free of these destructive thinking patterns that I have been catching and observing from the outside.
Yeah, it's very powerful what you're saying, because this journey isn't easy, and anyone who's undergone their own initiation process, which is pretty much entering the underworld, coming back up, entering the underworld, coming back up, throughout the cycles in our lives, will notice that it is hard. It is hard to lay down an old identity, because everything we identify ourselves with becomes our foundation, and it becomes our understanding of life, of ourselves, our meaning-making mechanism, so to speak. So breaking that down means breaking everything down we have ever known, and that's a hard process. And it's a process that continues. However, the frequencies that we are going to go into then in that process for ourselves are going to actually help to make that easier. The new energetics are so different, and this is what I really want to emphasize in this video, in this live. It's nothing we have ever known. It's nothing we have ever experienced before. There are no teachings about that. There are no reference points about that, because it has not existed before. We had, as humanity, cycles and cycles of evolutions, the dark era, the silver era, the golden era. However, this one feels and is different. And because we don't have the teachings for that, and not yet role models we can look back to, we have to become the teachers of the new energetics. We have to become the role models of the new energetics. And that can be sometimes hard, because, let's be honest, working with emotions, working with our inner being can be challenging, because it's all about ourselves and the relationships we are having, our purpose, and also what these frequencies within us actually are doing. Corinna, we had a talk this morning that was very powerful about neutrality, and you were saying that you watched a video from Kryan, or the guy who channels Kryan, I think I forgot his name, and he was saying that our Akashic records are basically going to be completely rewritten, the old ones deleted. Is that correct?
That's true. Basically, Lee Harris is channeling Kryan from over 30 years. And what have been they doing together? It was leading humanity into this new cycle. So there are a lot of powerful information for everyone curious to search about it, but he's literally saying, yes, the Akashic records are not going to be there anymore, and we are going to basically create a new human soul. And trying to bridge what you were saying later, related to my own journey and what I see with the people that are in my life as well, and I'm connecting with daily, this new identity, it's not like an identity we had before. It's basically not an identity. It's who you are at your root. And so many teachings nowadays are talking to you through what you should do to improve yourself. But it's not about building other blocks on your mind about who you could be. It's about basically removing, allow that walls to fall, and meeting you in your powerful, authentic self as just the divine created you. And I feel like very cool to say right now, it's very important for us to connect with the divine for that, because we like to say nowadays, oh, I am co-creator, or like even more, like we are going into this spiritual ego. I am the creator. Oh, really? But how can you be the creator without connecting with the divine? So it is very important to find that channel within ourselves and to allow this energy flow through us, because basically the divine is going to guide us. That part that is connecting us to the higher powers, but we need to allow it to emerge without considering we are already it, because if it would be, none of us will be here talking about what we are talking already.
So powerful. If you have, by the way, any questions, if you would like to ask something or add something, feel free to use the chat box. We are actually looking at it. And it's so powerful what Corinna said, because in the Western world in particular, it's all about being the creator, and we are in control and we are in charge. But you see, in these new energetics, it's the energies that are in charge. And you need to become the vessel of these energies. But to become a vessel, we need to purify. So we need to ask ourselves, what patterns, what self-sabotaging mechanisms, what fears, what doubts are we ready to let go? Are we ready to shed, to release, to be pretty much born into these new energetics? Because we need to learn to function in them. They're going to be different, and the way we have done it so far is going to close. You need to imagine those background frequencies as if you are in a room, and the room is full of electricity that guides the energy in that room, and you basically work with these energies. The energies guide you, the energies anchor into your cells, and they navigate, so to speak, how you behave, what is right and what is wrong. We think that we do it as a collective, but actually it's governed by the energies. And these new energetics are basically shedding everything. It's like you're taking all your clothes off and you are being nakedly you, understanding you. In these new energetics, we need to learn to function as sovereign beings. That means we need to know ourselves. We need to honor ourselves. And also we need to honor the other. And that is very, very important. We are full of judgment. We are full of opinions, full of beliefs. The information out there is very polarizing. And in order to stop that, we need to first begin to really see ourselves. And when we can do that and honor ourselves, we can give that grace to another. And then we can change the ways in which we relate to one another. But this requires from us to be emotionally within ourselves in tune. And I know from my experience, and we had that talk as well, it is not easy to integrate our emotions properly, especially as women, because we as women are emotional creatures. For men it's even more challenging because they've never learned to even deal with their emotions. It is important to understand what part of your emotions are really you. What part of your emotions have you picked up from the outer energies? And allow yourself to sit with them, but also allow them to move through you without holding on to them. One of the biggest problems is the identification to our emotions. We identify with it. We use it as an excuse often for our behavior or the decisions we make. Whereas in the new energies, we are supposed to be neutral, and we have a very wrong perception of what neutrality is. If you look in terms of 5D and 3D, 5D are the higher frequencies. In 5D, we cannot take any emotional baggage with us. It's not possible. So what happens when we clear a layer, we go up to 5D in terms of our energetic body, we feel good, we manifest fast, everything seems to flow and magically come to us. But then something happens, we get triggered, and woof, we fall right back down into 3D. And again, we are resolving until we again back up in the frequencies. So this is the cycle that is happening. And in order to really understand our emotions, we need to understand what love is. We need to understand what authenticity is. Love. Love. How many of you relate love to emotional attachment? To a mother to her child, a child to its mother, lovers, friends, family members, all of us. Love is neutral. How does that sound? Why do you feel, Corinna, that love is neutral?
Because when you are in that space, from what I get to experience, any reasoning for your existence completely dissolves. I would like to use this example. Like years ago when I was doing one training with an institute, it was so interesting what they were sharing about authenticity, because you just mentioned. So they were saying in order for us to be authentic beings, we need to be in totally integrity with ourselves. And to be fully in integrity with ourselves, we need to feel whole and completed with everything that we have done before. Let's suppose we take an example, relationship. So any relationship or any part of a relationship, being with your parents, with like an ex-partner, with like an ex-colleague, you feel like it was not completed, it was not ended, you need to go back there and to see what you can do in order to complete it, at least within yourself, not necessarily like sharing with them. And in the moment that you are complete within yourself, you are in this integrity within yourself, you feel like you reach that point, you can like feel free to be the one that you are. But when you have all of this baggage from the back, considering that you cannot appear in a way or another because of a reason, or you are hiding yourself, I feel like it's exactly what Anita was saying. We are hanging on different patterns from our past. So in this neutrality, we are fully who we are in the present moment, without feeling constrained, without feeling like we need to prove something, without feeling like we need to do something in particular. We are just like being, and we are so connected to that feeling, with that frequency basically, that's enough. Imagine how it will be to just feel enough without anything in this world. And now you will say, okay, Karina, Anita, but we are not, in a forest. We need a lot of things for living. Yes, we need them because we want them, right? But how amazing it will be for them to have them, but don't feel pain whenever time something is disappearing or we don't have it. So this is how I see this neutrality, being fully connected with yourself, and that like being completely enough. And when you're coming from this space, talking to a friend or doing your work, you know that you do this because you do this. There is no other reason for that. You're just fully doing it, just doing it without reason.
Just do it.
Just doing it.
Just do it. Sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, for example, in the relationships nowadays, because it's very popular now to write like your manifestation program or like a ritual, and we say, I want this, and I want my life to be like this, and I want my partner to be like this. But you see how many ties are we wrapping around ourselves by saying that, because they become reasons for why we believe to like someone. We believe that that will be good for us. So it's like it will be a question like, do we really, this neutrality is related to what we actually need for real, or what do we want? We need to ask ourselves about it, because so much time, I want this because someone else wants it, but it is what you need. And what we really need is for us to be connected with the divine. In anyhow that would be possible for you. I feel like there is where this neutrality is coming in, because you're pouring into yourself that energetics, that energy that it's giving you like strength and power, and it makes you beautiful just as you are.
Yeah, I have to add to that this is sometimes difficult to understand when you hear people talking about this. To be honest, I am able to live it because I've experienced it in my plant medicine. I've experienced what really unconditional love means, which I will go into a second, but also neutrality. I have experienced everything in the ceremonies through my higher self. And these were situations that in real life scenarios would have made me emotional, whether that was angry or sad or anything else that I felt in those moments. But in that ceremony, I had the luxury and the honor, honestly, to experience it neutral and just with pure love. And this is when I understood that we actually have no idea what unconditional love is. First off, unconditional love doesn't mean you take everyone and you love everyone. It doesn't mean that. It means that you are neutral towards situations. You don't perceive them as good or bad. You perceive them as they are. You love deeply. But it doesn't come from a wounded, fearful place, codependency place, attached place. It comes from a very innocent and pure state. And I'm struggling sometimes to use words for certain experiences, because seriously on those frequencies the language ceases to exist. But this is the closest I can explain it to you. It's literally that love that knows boundaries, that knows limits, but that expresses itself freely, because dependent love, conditioned love, is calculated into the human experience. So we are not here to just be all unconditional loving. We are here to experience the true frequency of love, because love is not an emotion, and that is the neutrality of what is, which means a balancing of our emotions. Sometimes the pendulum swings this way, sometimes that way, but always bring yourself back to the balance by allowing yourself to feel what you need to feel without identifying and attaching to this experience. And this is very, very important for us to understand, and it can often really only come through experiences. How often did I bounce back in certain situations and was really frustrated with the universe, then to only realize, okay, it's my own inner frustration because I want it now. And what she was saying, what Corinna was saying about the manifestation, it goes also back to the energetics. In the new energetics, you're going to be closer connected to the spiritual laws and to divine will. Because when we are living from our inner authority, we are connected to our divinity. And that divinity is connected to up there, to the cosmos, to source, whatever we want to call it. So we live actually in alignment with our life cycles. And when we live in alignment with our life cycles, we are tuned into the energy. When we are tuned into the energy, we know now this opens up for us in this area of our lives. And now when we work with these energies on a higher neutral frequency, we manifest like this. And this is what I have experienced over and over again, to the extent that I stopped pushing, I stopped wanting something now, I stopped being angry sometimes or frustrated or bitter if I wouldn't get what I want because I waited for so long for it. Because I realize when my cycle comes, it will manifest by itself. And literally, this is how it is.
Yeah. Anya, I would like to ask you something. For anyone that is totally new in this, what do you think that it will be the most important thing, or one of the most important things for them to start their own journey into diving into these energetics?
First off, notice within yourself what is currently changing. There is a shift and change in everybody. Nobody is the same as they were before. There is a change, no matter how subtle. Observe what change is going on. So that's the first thing. Then for yourself, you have to start being really honest and real. And that is very important. So no more putting yourself in a state of illusion, lying to yourself, masking your own face for yourself, but actually sit down and do a little self-inventory. Where in my life am I not living my truth? Where in my life do I hold on to grudges? Where in my life am I not allowing to express myself? Where have past experiences really dragged me down and are affecting my thoughts, my emotions, and my behaviors today? Where are my fears holding me back? Are they rational? Are they mine? Are they maybe from the outside world? And then as well, check in within yourself. How connected do you feel to your body, to your intuition, your inner knowing? And how connected do you feel to something bigger than you? This is the first step, is to get real and get honest, because awareness is 50% of the work. You becoming aware. You saying, this is what it is. I hate it, it sucks, I don't like it, but this is what it is. Accepting. Step number one. Then when you've started the acceptance, but truly from within, not mentally, this is not a mental process. This is important to understand. This is truly a process from within, from the body, because the mind actually in these new energies ceases to want to take control, because you're so aligned with who you are that it follows, which is actually what it's designed to do, right? The mind, as Albert Einstein said, is meant to follow the intuition, the soul. This is what happens on actually by itself. You don't even have to do anything for it. This is why the work is in the paradox. So once you've accepted, then you begin layer by layer, step by step, to work on yourself. Where are you self-sabotaging, for example? And then you find the ways in which you're self-sabotaging, and you start to consciously change them. You can as well seek help for people who are real guides of the new energetics. You can come to me, you can come to Corinna and other beautiful souls out there. They can help you and guide you through this emotional process, because sometimes we can't see the forest from the trees. But to really get real, we have to do this, what I call inventory. The acceptance of this inventory, and then take one topic at a time. You will do everything in your right time. There is no need to rush. And then begin to dissolve those layers. And it's the little things you do each and every day. For example, there is a situation you would always say, yes, 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 even if your body doesn't want it. Your friends ask you to go out, yes. Your lover asks you to cook for him, yes. Your boss asks you to stay longer, yes. But deep down you actually want to scream.
Yeah.
And those are the moments when you begin to say no. Having the courage to say no, no matter how difficult it is. But to say it from an inner conviction, from an inner embodied trust in yourself. even if your voice is shaking. And then you continue this to other areas, and you will notice that there is a shift that's going to happen within you, through you beginning to change how you perceive your environment, how you perceive yourself, but then also how you act in certain situations. That is the start.
Yeah, I feel called to say something for everyone in here. And I feel it's very important. If there would be something I would like to let know all humanity, it would be most probably this, one of them. So, into this experience, as Annie said, for me it is so important for all of us as humans to recognize it's not okay what we have been doing, how we have been living. And I'm thinking now how we thought about ourselves. And if we recognize that that's not okay, first of all, we need to see it as we are not alone in that. There is, if you want, something that have been helping me a lot. It was to envision this presence of the Divine Mother, like a mother that I never maybe had in my life. Either my mom, it was an amazing mom, but when it comes to this neutrality and this love, we really need to know that we are so supported. And the Divine Mother, it's something that we can embody as beings, and it's a voice that can like be poured through our own being and be there for ourselves. So every time we are having this critic in our mind saying that you are not enough, or you have to do more, or really talking the back talk to us, we have to think how that Divine Mother, how that love voice, how that like wise language will sound for me, what they will tell me in this moment. And when we open up for this, we are opening up to a field of new possibility where we allow the love to really find us. And then I feel like we cannot say it enough how important it is for us to recognize that we are all going through this process. Even some other people that say, oh no, I'm already there, I am this and that. No, it is important to know that we are going here as a collective. Of course, some of the people are more skilled, they have more experience, like more soul knowledge, but we are all going in that direction. It is very important to come back to this unity and understanding that we are doing this together, because in this new energy, basically, in this solar plexus mutation, what is going to happen next is going to us moving into like the heart field, basically, of the energetic. Imagine like we have our chakras, so the same is gonna happen with the energy. We need to enter the heart of it, and we really are doing that together. And for here, there are a lot of channelers, like Lee Harris, for example, we mentioned it before, that can really take you and guide you there through his talk. I would really recommend him for that.
Yeah, it's true what you said with the heart opening. And here it's also important to remember the heart is always open. So people who tell you the heart is blocked, this is a bunch of nonsense. The heart is a gate that's always open. What happens is, and this is why there's a solar plexus mutation, we have 3 power centers that we call the womb space. So one is the root, the second is the sacral, and the third is the solar plexus. So those 3 power centers, they store up. The root stores our safety, our security, our stability in this life, our material security. The sacral is our sexual energy, our ability to create, our fire. And the solar plexus is related to the sun, solar, again, willpower, confidence, emotions. Those power centers are usually distorted, and they are your power motor. So when one of those centers, or all 3, are not functioning properly, when there is a lot of garbage, so to speak, inside, what happens is that the flow of energy all the way up to the spiritual centers, which are our throat and our third eyes, gets shut down by the heart. So the energy cannot flow. Have you ever experienced it when you're really, really angry and you really want to say something that it's almost like a block in your throat and you cannot speak? When you're shocked, you cannot speak. When you have a traumatic effect, you cannot speak. It's often the fight, flight, or freeze mode. But usually we have a hard time speaking, or we scream, we yell, completely uncontrolled. That's another reason that there is something not properly cleaned up. So when this is in alignment, when this womb space, the 3 power centers are in alignment, now the heart completely expands. And also your ability to speak your truth extends, as well as your ability to connect to the divine, to the cosmos within yourself. So again, this is where we are releasing ancestral patterns, collective unconscious patterns for history. There's so many topics we can talk in this life for like hours, but these are the main parts that I want to tell you, that we are really moving from this tribal collective. We are all one, to individuality and inner authority. So we are going through all of this together, and we all signed up for it, but we are all unique individuals. Yeah. So this following the masses, this copy-paste culture, this what are others doing, I need to do it the same way to be successful, is going to go down the drain. Slowly but slowly. This is not going to happen overnight, but you can see a lot of those topics already playing out. So we are not just telling you fairy tales, we are actually really speaking the truth. And oftentimes I have experienced when I speak of what is to come, people cannot relate because the energies are not here. So this is why my role, especially also as a projector in human design, is to guide you to these energetics, to these new energies, because especially this is why I love astrology and human design and gene codes and all of those tools that really are a map for ourselves. They help you understand yourself, they help you understand your system, they help you actually honor your difference, what makes you unique. And when you know these things within yourself, it is so much easier to embody them, so much easier to trust the flow of life. This beautiful soul here is a manifesting generator, so she's a hybrid between a manifestor and a generator, and our energies function very, very different from one another, yet our purpose in this life is still similar. It's just how we do it, how we go about it, it's how the energies work for us, and how we are uniquely designed in the energies is different. We don't just look different, but I'm sure you pick up that we have similar but also very different energies that are exuding out. So each and every one of you is that unique being. Yeah. But we have never learned that, right? Like in the school system, one size fits all. If you don't know this, you're bad. What did Albert Einstein say? Everyone is a genius, but if you think that, what was it? Oh my God, I forgot it. But if you're judged, if you're a fish and you're judged by your ability to climb a tree, the whole life you'll be walking around thinking you're stupid. I think it was like that.
Yeah, something like that.
So please forgive me. So, and this is really how it is. We need to, and most of us, I was always a rebel. I was always rebelling, asking questions, and I'm sure a lot of you out there too. Because from a young age we knew something was off, and from a young age actually we are prepared for what is to come, for what our role is. More and more people are going to be in their purpose. You will see less and less people doing random jobs to survive. And if you try, you will lose your job, something will happen, and you're pushed into your purpose. So these are some of the topics. So prepare, as we just discussed in the steps. It always starts within you. It starts with the individual, with your connection to divinity. And you're not alone. We are really not alone. There's so much divine intergalactic presence. Yeah. We will do another life on all the experiences we had. It's actually a magical time. So when you're prepared, you're ready. Because in 2027, as per the human design system, they're going to kick in. And then from today to tomorrow, really life will be different. It's building up, but it will kick in like this. So do not say we didn't warn you, but we are here for the guidance. We are here for the preparation. Corinna, do you have anything else to say before we close this live? I think we did it super long.
Yeah, so one more thing that I think is going to be very useful for everyone, because we are very close to the eclipse. If you have any, let's say, tips for how we can relate to these energies coming in.
Yeah, so the eclipse energies, basically, we will have a hybrid eclipse in Pisces tomorrow or the day after, depending on your time zone. Why hybrid eclipse? Because the nodes are still in Aries and Libra, so the nodes will shift in January next year. And this Pisces Virgo axis energy is basically to call in the new energetics. Why? Because Pisces is in the North Node, is ruled by Neptune and Jupiter, Jupiter being the ancient ruler. And Pisces is the most spiritual sign. It's the sign of the cosmos, of divinity, but also of dreams. It's the 12th house, the subconscious, our deep-rooted fears, emotions that we have buried deep, deep, deep down inside. It's also the sign of psychedelics, the substances. It's the sign of spiritual health, spiritual connections, hospitals, institutions. Virgo on the other side is the physical manifestation. It's the physical health. It's our daily habits. It's our routine. So the focus of this eclipse, with Pluto being retro back in Capricorn, means that we are closing up a huge chapter of the last 14 years of our lives. And since it's a lunar eclipse, we are reaching with the Pluto in Capricorn a culmination point. So that's why we are feeling all kinds of ways with this eclipse. And there are many other players, but I want to keep it simple. This is not an astrology channel. So what this energy is going to ask you really is observe what is leading your life now. Personal behavior, belief systems, jobs, relationships, health. Look at your health. How are you with your spiritual health? How are you with your physical health? How are you taking care of yourself? How are you eating? How are you connected with your energy? You will get a lot of signs and symbols through your dreams, through the occurrences that are going to take place. Everyone will be differently affected by these energies, some more than others, depending on your placements. But this North Node energy of Pisces is going to get us more and more and more, because it gives into the collective, a further collective awakening. And with Saturn in Pisces as well, this awakening of our spirituality is going to get easier manifested into physical form. So it's a time where I would advise you to not manifest anything. Eclipses are unpredictable. You do not want to manifest that energy. So forget about your desires for the next couple of days. Forget about what you want and really open yourself up to the energies. Connect to your higher self, because this is going to be very supported in this time. And observe the messages you are receiving. Observe what is coming, what is leaving, what is changing for you. And allow it to take place, because eclipses are destiny points. It's where the universe says, okay, free will is parked now, we are taking over. Mm-hmm. And if you have looked at eclipse cycles in your lives, they have always brought in significant life changes. Marriages, divorces, death, birth, job changes, relocations, identity shifts usually happen around eclipse cycles when they affect your personal planet, your charts, when they play with them. So when you have noticed this in your life, then you will understand how potent this is. And the last time we had Pisces North Node was from 2006 to 2008. Do you remember what happened? Do you remember the times? Do you remember what happened in those years in your life? For me, I relocated into a completely different continent. I entered a new relationship, so many shifts and changes. So we will have similar themes playing out, but of course they will be still different, because we have different players interacting with the nodes and with the eclipses, but it's going to be similar. So just open yourself up really with open arms like a child. Be curious and just allow the energy to really do its job. By the end of the day, this is what is going to be more and more. Why do you think we have Pisces and Virgo eclipses right before 2027? So thank you so much for joining our live today. I think we went way overboard. I hope that this live has helped you a little bit understanding energetics. It's a huge topic. We need to actually make about 10 videos just for that and narrow them down to specific topics. Thank you so much for your time and your energy. And we are going to see you very soon. I'm not going to say happy eclipse. I'm just going to say open yourself up to the energies. So much love to all of you.